Hey guys, welcome to Raw Customs. I'm your host, Patrick Rapolo, and we are back on the Razor Armor. This episode, we're going to be covering how to put together the Razor Gauntlet. So to start, there's two options on sizes, guys. There's a large as well as a small. The large will fit about a 15-inch forearm or smaller, and on the small, you'll want to start around an 8-inch arm and go down. Now, of course, they are designed to actually adjust. So when you put the thing together, you'll be able to shrink it in before you glue all the pieces together. Now the kit comes with pieces to make a guard for the top of the hand. You could just glue this actually onto a glove if you want to. Another option to use this is to actually glue it on the bottom side of the actual gauntlet itself, just to add a little more character or design if you're not wanting anything for the top of the hand. You could also use this anywhere else, a shoulder piece. I always recommend that you guys use your imagination and take these parts and do what you want with them. Now the gauntlet is designed to cover the majority of the forearm, guys. However, if you need to shorten it or want to shorten it up a little bit, I did design it so that you could take a razor and cut off across the piece here and just cut this back section completely off and shorten it up to either change the look, or if you just have a little bit shorter arm and you need to take off that extra. So of course these pieces are meant to be universal for you to use with Razor armor, with the tactical armor, or whatever super imaginative character that you have rolling around in your brain. And to help you with that, I do have kits as well as templates. If you're interested in either one of those, head down to the description area. You'll find a couple of links there to get you started. Now let's get to the video, see how to put these things together. For this build, you'll need the kit or the templates. If you go with the templates, you'll need 4 sheets of 5mm EVA foam. Recommended supplies and tools for this build are contact cement, painter's tape, plasti dip, spray paint, a heat gun, a rotary tool, a razor knife, and an airbrush. In the kit, you'll have your bottom piece, the straps, your bottom base piece, and a second and third layer of overlays. And this is how they'll stack up. This prop doesn't need any rotary work or beveling to assemble. However, in my opinion, beveling the edges does give the prop a better look in the end. The kit also comes with the pieces to make the guards for the top of the hand. Let's get started with the hand guard. On the base piece, apply glue to the top surface area inside the marked areas. On your overlay pieces, apply glue to the entire bottom surface area. Once your glue set up, you can press your pieces together. You'll want to keep the outside edges lined up and flush. To bevel and clean up your edges, I recommend using a rotary tool with a grinding stone. With that being said, you can clean up the seam on your front edge and then put a half bevel on the top overlay. Next, grab a heat gun and heat the guard on both sides. This will heat seal it and allow you to bend it. Take the guard and form it over a cylinder, and then hold it till it cools. Once the foam is cooled, it will hold its shape. Now let's get started on the gauntlet. Grab your bottom layer, which is the base piece, the center and back for the second layer, and the 2 top layer pieces for the center. On the center piece, make a half bevel along the front and back top edge. A half bevel is around a 45-degree bevel around half the thickness of the foam. On the back piece, make a half bevel at the front and side on both ends. On the center top overlays, you can make a half bevel all the way around. Next, apply glue to the base overlay on the top surface area. Apply glue to the bottom surface area of the back and centerpiece. Once your glue set, you can line up your centerpiece and glue it into place. On the back piece, I recommend starting at one end and working your way to the other. On this piece, you'll want to focus on keeping the back edges flush. On the center overlay, you can apply glue to each end inside your reference lines and to the bottom surface area of the top overlays. Allow the glue time to set up, and then you can press your two top overlays into place. At this point, you can use your rotary tool to clean up your back seam and to put a half bevel along the back edge. At the center section on the side, you can clean up your seams and bevel the top edge. Next, you can grab your pieces for the front overlay. On the front second layer piece, you can make a half bevel all the way around. On the piece for the top center, make a half bevel on the top and both sides and the bottom edges on each end. On the bottom indentation, I just recommend leaving that part square. On the circles, you can make a half bevel all the way around. As far as beveling the edges, guys, these are just recommendations. You could just round over the edges, make indentions, or just leave them alone. Most of my kits are meant to be universal and designed in a way to allow you to use your imagination and skills so that you can insert your own styles on your costumes. Once your pieces are beveled, you can apply glue to your bottom piece inside your reference lines and to the bottom surface area of the top overlays. Once your glue set, you can press your pieces in place, line up and press down your center piece, and then your circles on each end. Next, grab all your pieces for the back overlay section. On layer 2, make a half bevel all the way around. On your top layer pieces, leave the long piece that looks like a hat square. Half bevel the centerpiece all the way around. On the side pieces, bevel all the edges but leave the indentation square. And of course, bevel your circles all the way around. Then just repeat the same process as you did for the front section. Apply your glue and then press everything in place. Now it's back to the base section. Use a heat gun to heat this section on both sides. Once the piece is heated, you'll want to form it over a cylinder from end to end. Here I'm using a piece of 2-inch PVC. The idea here is to form it and give it a curve that's going to match your arm. Now grab your bottom section, use your heat gun to heat the piece on both sides and form it around the cylinder, the same as you did the top piece. At this point you'll want to size your gauntlet. The easiest way to do this is to lay the top portion face down on a table and then place your arm on top of it. Then line up the bottom piece. The side should be tucked inside the top piece. Line up the back edge of the bottom piece with the back of the notch on the top piece. I recommend making the gauntlet a little bit loose on your arm. Once you're happy with the position of your two pieces, you can use some tape to hold everything together temporarily. Another idea for holding your pieces together is double-sided Velcro. The Velcro is usually used for things like cable management, but it comes in pretty handy for a lot of different projects. In this case, it allows you to readjust the gauntlet easily and do a good test fit before gluing it together. Once you have your gauntlet sized, you'll want to trace along the edges on both sides to make reference lines. You'll want to mark for reference lines on the inside as well. Once you have your reference lines, you can separate your two pieces. Then apply glue to your marked areas. Allow the glue time to set up and then press everything together. Next, grab your strap for the back. Line up one end inside the notch and wrap the strap around the bottom to the other side. You'll want to make the back edge of the strap flush with the back edge of the bottom. Hold the strap in place, then mark it where it lines up in the notch. Then use a razor to cut off the extra at your marked area. Lay your strap back in place and then trace a reference line along the front edge. You'll repeat the same process for the front strap. The only difference here is that the front edge of the strap will overhang the edge of the bottom piece. At this point, you can use a heat gun to heat seal your straps on both sides, then apply glue to the bottom surface area and to the marked area on the bottom of your gauntlet. When gluing the straps in place, I recommend starting at one edge and wrapping it around to the other side. Take your time, and on the front strap, keep it lined up with your reference line. On the back strap, keep it lined up with the back edge. Next, take your front section. Line up one side over the notch in the end of the strap. Make the edges flush with the edges on the base piece, then trace the outside edge, making a reference line on the strap. Do this on both sides and then repeat the process for the back section. Next, use a heat gun to heat seal your top sections on both sides. On the gauntlet, apply glue to the front section inside your marked area and to the bottom surface area of the front top piece. To glue the front section in place, you'll want to start in the center. Line up your two inside corners with the reference line corners and keep your front edges lined up and flush. Then press the center section down. Then work your way out to one side, pressing down the piece a little at a time. Your goal here is to keep the outside edges lined up. You can squeeze the main body of the gauntlet together. This will flatten out the side just a little bit and make it easier to line up your edges. Once the front section is done, you can apply glue to your back pieces. To glue down the back section, start in the center. Line up your bottom and top corner on one side. Then press down the center area, keeping it lined up with your reference lines. Once the center area has been glued down, work your way out to one end and you'll want to try and keep the front angled edge lined up. Again, you can squeeze and flatten out the gauntlet a little bit to help you get the edges lined up. Another option with the handguard is to actually glue it on the bottom of the gauntlet. Now you'll need to seal the foam for paint. I actually recommend using Plasti-Dip. I like to use 2 light coats followed by 1 heavy coat. Once the Plasti-Dip is dry, you can apply your base coat of paint. I like to spray on 1 light coat and at least 1 heavy coat. The main thing is just to have good solid coverage. To add details, I like to use an airbrush, but as always guys, y'all can use whatever you want to. Paint brushes, sponges, rags, you know, whatever's going to get the job done. And I like to finish everything off with a coat of clear.